Welcome to the camera test. Three of the biggest camera phones right now, the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra versus the iPhone 11 Pro Max versus the Huawei P40 Pro Plus. I know the iPhone 12 is the real competitor, but the 11 Pro Max is still a pretty good contender. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Now first up, I'm gonna answer the main question which people have been asking me all day. Has Samsung actually fixed the autofocus issue which we have seen with the S20 Ultra? Is it actually fixed or not? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. The autofocus is super fast. It is as snappy as the iPhone or the P40 Pro Plus. In my personal testing, actually faster than the P40 Pro Plus. Samsung has nailed this completely. We actually have a brand new sensor on the back just to assist with the autofocus, and it really does the trick. It's super quick, really impressive indeed. Now, in terms of the pictures, these phones can take great photos outdoor. Obviously, the difference will be in terms of the color, and because of the size of the sensors, we're gonna see things a bit more in focus on the iPhone if you're taking photos up close compared to the Samsung and Huawei. But the flip side to having a bigger sensor means you get a better depth of field. Overall quality looks great on both phones. They all do a phenomenal job outdoor. Like I said, just a few differences in colors. Sometimes we have a bit of a warmer touch on the iPhone, cooler on the Note, and kind of a middle ground on the Huawei. And sometimes all the images look kind of similar with a few differences with the dynamic range. I will say this without a doubt that Samsung has the best ultra wide angle lens. Not only it is super wide, it also brings the best quality on the table as well. Even with the night mode, it smashes both phones easily. I'm going to show you guys that later, so better wait for it. As far as the zoom is concerned, both Huawei and Samsung can zoom really far. Samsung can do 50x. Huawei P40 Pro Plus can actually do 100x zoom. Apple, on the other hand, can only do 2x with 10x the maximum quality with software. As far as the quality of the zoom is concerned, when it comes to, taking zoom photos handheld, I think Samsung does the best. Whereas on Huawei, I have to kind of keep my hands stable, and even despite doing that, it was a bit jittery with the result. With a tripod, things make a lot more sense, but I'm sure most people won't be using a tripod. But overall, of course, you do get better performance of zoom on both Huawei and Samsung compared to Apple. In case you're someone who's looking forward to using this feature, definitely this is something that is not present on the iPhone, something we may see in 2022 or 2023. Now, as for the dynamic range, this was another issue that we had on the S20 Ultra, and for the most part with the Note 20 Ultra, Samsung has improved everything. It matches the other phones, but Apple and Huawei are still a little bit better at bringing the shadow highlights up. In quite a few shots, I actually prefer the P40 Pro. It even edges out the iPhone sometimes when it comes to the dynamic range. When it comes to the video performance in daytime, they all shoot beautiful videos. Kind of the same story, few differences in colors, but drastic differences when it comes to a more challenging situation like this evening time. This is where iPhone picks up the game, brightest video, as well as the most detail in the sky as well. Samsung is the darkest of the bunch. I tried the super night video as well, and Samsung again is the darkest. I mean, this is a very like a dark situation that is just I'm showing off for the test, but you can see here that the iPhone and Huawei are better. But overall, when it comes to just videos, in most situations, these phones will be able to bring some amazing quality video footage coming at 4K, with Samsung can even bump those numbers to 8K with some extra sharpness. As for the portrait mode, you can see we have some obvious differences going on, mainly with the skin tones. iPhone is again my favorite because it's the most natural out of all these phones. On the other hand, Samsung looks a bit too processed with the skin tones. I mean, I like the high contrasty look of it, but definitely I prefer the iPhone. Huawei P40 Pro Plus also has its processing going on. Overall, they all do fairly great job in background blur. Here is another portrait image with a bit of a challenging background, and you can see Huawei completely deep frying me. Both Samsung and Apple kind of keeping the balance there. Sometimes the effects on Huawei phone can get a little too much. By the way, the AI mode on Huawei was disabled the whole time because I felt like it was a bit too strong for my taste. Now, when it comes to selfies, the iPhone does the same thing, of course, keeping all all that natural look, but when you switch to the portrait mode, it crops in, so you're not getting as wide of a result as you get on Samsung or Huawei. So Samsung takes this to a really good, nice wide level, and same thing with the portrait mode, no difference. Once again, same thing with the Huawei P40 Pro Plus. It's got a dual punch hole selfie camera system, and honestly, in comparison to the single camera system of Apple and Samsung, I don't really see a huge difference in terms of the quality. Now, a bit of a challenging situation with a bright background, basically sky just beaming down behind me, and you can see Huawei looks very aggressive. It's kind of the same thing we saw with the back portrait mode image that I showed you guys earlier. Sometimes the processing can get a little too unrealistic. The iPhone still keeps everything natural. Samsung is kind of in the middle, and I actually like the Samsung selfie here. It's a nice mix between the processing and, you know, the natural look. Kind of feel like it needs no editing, ready to be shared on social media. Now, when it comes to the video, you can see the iPhone, even with the front camera, is able to bring those cloud details with the bright sky. Again, differences of the skin tones. You might prefer the skin tone of Samsung. You might prefer the skin tone of Apple. It might be a personal preference. I personally prefer a more of a natural look. Overall, they all look good. They can all shoot 4K 60 FPS video from front camera, which is really, really good. Now, finally, on to the night mode. Hands down, Samsung is the king of the ultra wide angle lens. As I've said earlier, it is significantly better in night mode performance compared to any other Samsung phone I've tried out. When it comes to the ultra mode, for main lens, it's just as good as the Huawei P40 Pro Plus and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. By the way, iPhone does not have an ultra wide angle lens night mode, so it doesn't really do anything. It literally becomes a useless lens when you are in a low light situation or in a night situation. This is something that Apple will definitely change with the iPhone 12. Night mode improvements are coming indeed, thanks to the new processor and everything. Now, when there is enough light, the night mode on iPhone can produce some really good, pleasing images. Huawei overall looks the most processed, but it's also the one that can take up to 32 seconds long exposure. So for extreme night mode, Huawei will most likely edge out the iPhone as well as Samsung, but I reckon most people will just gonna use normal night mode. So just for the test, I pointed both phones towards the sky and took this image, and just like that, Huawei has the brightest and the sharpest result. Now it's time for a quick checkout of the microphone performance on all these phones. Hey guys, so testing out the audio of the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Let me know how it sounds. Outdoor, we have a little bit of wind going on. Hey guys, so now I'm shooting on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and this is 4K 30 FPS using the main lens. Quick audio test, let me know how it sounds. Again, a little bit of wind. Hey guys, so a quick little audio test of the Huawei P40 Pro Plus shooting in 4K 30 frames per second using the main lens, and the colors are looking really punchy, vibrant. So that's all there is, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this camera test. I have to say, after doing this test, I can say that Samsung has the best ultra wide angle lens on any phone right now in my testing, whereas the iPhone still has the best video on any phone. Like, they are pretty close, but I think iPhone for me takes the cake. It also, in my opinion, takes really good portrait images, but of course it doesn't have that zoom versatility. So if you're looking for that, then iPhone definitely doesn't have that, at least for now. Huawei has the best extreme night mode, so if you're someone who's gonna do the astrophotography or something like that, Huawei will edge out these two phones. But I have to say, Samsung is really close as well, and same thing can be said on the iPhone. Considering it's a 2019 phone, it's doing fairly good. As for the actual main camera pictures, they are mostly similar in quality. Of course, you get better bokeh and better higher megapixel images out of Samsung and Huawei. So if you're gonna really zoom in, you might see a bit more detail on those phones. But overall, they do a great job. Mainly differences come down to the colors and dynamic range. If you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe and smash the like button. I really appreciate that. And yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.